MMAOddsBreaker, of course, it's Will Brooks. Just had his fight announced. Getting ready for Marcin Held coming up here on November 8th. Is that right? Is that when that fight is?
Yeah. November 6th.
6th. November 6th.
Yeah.
Yep. For Bellator 145. We knew this fight was kind of coming down the pipe from a fan standpoint for a while, but was there a reason why? It seemed like to me it took a really long time to get the fight announced, to get the fight put together, and get the dates put together. Was there something going on in the background that we didn't know about? You know?
Yeah, I think it was just a little bit of just miscommunication on I think Bellator's part and Merced, or excuse me, Merced, Marcin Held's part. I think he had got married when they and then he went on a honeymoon for went on like a 3-week European backpacking trip or whatever. And the communication there was they miscommunicated and thought that they would be able to schedule the fight a little bit earlier, and unfortunately they weren't able to do that. So the fight was moved around a little bit more than what I would have liked it to be, you know. But you gotta take it for what it is, you know. And now they got it announced, and now we're gonna move forward. So it is what it is, you know.
Best case scenario, when would you have liked to have had the fight happen?
I would have liked to have fought. To be honest, when they first scheduled it, it was originally scheduled in August, and he had actually just gotten married and went on his honeymoon. So by the time he got back from his honeymoon, he would have only had 6 or 5 weeks or something like that, 5 or 6 weeks to get ready for that fight. And it was understanding. You know, I would never want them to have to put me on a spot like that and expect me to be able to prepare in that short amount of time for a title fight. So I respected that, and I was like, you know what, look, we can move the fight. And then they moved it to September, and I don't know what happened with that. Then they wanted to move it from September to October. It was just a lot of different moving around.
Wow.
So finally, they've got it figured out, and they decided that they wanted to move us to November since that's a bigger card. So they wanted to put us on that and be able to have a bigger audience. So it is what it is.
Well, what is it, like 3 months now, training camp for you? I mean, it's like
Yeah, pretty much, man. I've been the most frustrating thing about them moving it around so much is, you know, at first I understood because he was getting married and whatnot, but the 2 or 3 more times that they changed it just didn't make sense to me, and it was frustrating because I'm working with my coaches, putting together like schedules, starting to work out and starting to pick it up, and then they tell me, "Oh, shut it down, do this." So it was a little annoying, but you know, it's a little annoying that it'll be 7 months.
yeah.
Come November, it'll be 7 months is my last fight, and that's a difficult thing to deal with. When you know, honestly, I don't make enough financially to go that long between paychecks. So, you know, like I said, it is what it is.
Hold on. I'm sorry. You're the champ, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and I mean, do you live a? I mean, let's make the stereotype. You're a black man living in Florida. Are you spending buying cars and Lamborghinis, and I don't see any gold chains on you? Do you have them in a safe someplace that I don't see? I mean, are you
Nah, man. I
out at the
mean,
club every night? I mean, where's your money going?
not at all, man. I mean, this is the society that we live in these days, man. Things are a little bit more expensive than they used to be. You know, it goes to bills, paying health insurance, doing this, doing that, and paying car notes, phone bills, electricity to keep my power on. All these different things start to add up a little bit, and then you have to take into consideration that I have to turn around and pay my manager a certain amount of money for his management fee. Then I turn around and pay my gym fee, and then I'm paying my taxes after they already take the state taxes out. So it doesn't leave you with very much, especially when you start adding up the small things that you have to take care of. And you know, there's small personal things that I have to deal with financially. Like I'll be honest, my mom lost her job, so I'm helping her pay her rent. So it's a little bit of a hard thing right now. But you know, you deal with it, you roll with the punches, and hopefully be able to get to a paycheck sooner than when I am. But you know, it is what it is.
You would think that as a champ, and this is the fans at home thinking this. You know, it's not the actual other champs or the other people that are actually in the organization, but they're thinking like, oh, he's the champ. He must be
Yeah,
making millions of dollars because he's the champ. That's just how it works, right? Like the champs make all the money. He
yeah,
has all the endorsements. You have all the sponsorships. You know,
yeah.
so you're like, you know, I can ride a year and a half between fights, and you're saying that like 6 months is about my limit between fights. I got to start getting the fight, and otherwise my bills start getting thin.
Yeah, because I mean, you think about it, like I, look, I'm always honest about it, man. Like I've never really complained about fighters' pay. I've always respected the ladder system that they put together. Like, you win the fights, you prepare, you go out there, you do your thing, you earn that extra money. I've always respected that, but I also feel like it's up to the promoters and organizations to recognize that, you know what, this sum of money may only last for a certain amount of time. It's just reasonable, and um, it was put out there. My last fight, I made 72,000. I'm not afraid to tell people. But again, you start taking out state tax and management fees and having to pay my taxes outside of those things and paying bills. That 72,000 goes like that,
Yeah.
and it doesn't last that long. But some of the fans may see that and like 72,000, like blah blah blah, but
That's
they
my
don't take
year.
into
That's my
consideration.
whole year. He fought
Yeah,
one time, made my whole year. That's why I'm making a year. Working my job.
yeah,
It's like, well, of that 72,000, the reality of it is, you only got to take home 50%. Everything else had to go to somebody else, and
exactly,
then you pay taxes on that 50%. On top of the
exactly.
taxes they've already taken, they're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's just not there.
Exactly. And that's why I don't complain about that, because I'll be honest, I don't feel like I've earned that ability to step up to those higher numbers yet. I'm earning that now, but I do understand that. I am honest about it. I'm a human being outside of fighting, and I just don't get paid enough to sit around 6 to 7 months between paychecks. It's just honest, it's truth. Me and my fiance are getting ready to get married, next year, and we're planning weddings and doing this and doing that. So again, money is being and needing to be spent to live my life. So it is what it is.
Well, we're going to talk about the Josh Thompson here. I wanted to wait a little bit, but you actually bring up a good point. This is one of the reasons why obviously, there's a lot of other factors. Him and Scott Coker are friends. He felt a better deal over there, but ultimately what he said is like, I can make so much more money on my sponsorships. I can make so much more money, with Bellator than I could anywhere else with my dollars, that my sponsors that come with me. Like, I'm able to make 120, 200, 140,000 every time I fight in sponsorship dollars. So that's a big reason for him to come over, because paycheck plus your sponsorships is a huge part of the game. If you take away that sponsorship money, then how are you going to survive? Did you see Josh making a jump into the division financially, or because he's really still competitive and wants to try to test himself in the other waters over in Bellator, as far as you and Chandler and Alvarez and the rest of the guys? Do you think it was a financial decision ultimately at the end of the day, or do you think he's really still a competitor and wants to try to erase those three names on his headboard?
Uh, you know, from what I saw when he did tweet and was saying how he was excited about being a part of Bellator and being able to work with Scott Coker again. What I read, what he was saying, it seemed like it was a lot of it was it was highly motivated by financial things, which I can't be mad at him for. I think a lot of fighters are starting to understand that this sport, you have to make as much money as you possibly can while you're in it, because it is a small window. There are a lot of moving pieces all the time. Guys can jump organizations and do this and do that, and there's new faces coming and going. So there's only so much money. There's only so many opportunities for guys to be able to earn these big dollars and earn these opportunities. So I think a lot of it was highly motivated by financial things, but uh, part of part of him, I believe, who he is, he's a competitor also. So that could be also it. Part of it. He wanted to get back in there and be able to compete with guys and show people that he still has the ability to uh, you know be a face in this sport, I guess. And I can't really speak for him, but from what I read, it seemed like financial motivation.
You're a fan of the sport. You like watching fights when you're not in the middle of training camp. Is he one of the fighters that you would enjoy watching when he was fighting in different promotions?
Oh yeah, definitely, man. I
Yeah.
think just like the other fans, and like you, I'm sure you recognize it. Whenever the guy comes, whenever he steps in the cage, he comes to fight.
Yeah.
It's always going to be a very exciting fight. Um, and I want to, when I watch him now, do I see a guy that's a world beater or anything like that, or a guy that I feel like could have had a UFC title or could have a Bellator title? I don't see that as much anymore. I think he's one of those guys that has realized that I'm getting up there in age. I've put my body through a lot during my career, and you could just kind of see that he's somewhat just showing up just to compete and put on a show, and I respect that. But at the same time, you have to have you have to have other thoughts and have other plans on. I'm trying to get to a title, and sometimes when I watch him recently, I don't see that in him.
So you're. I mean, I was my next question is like was going to be Marcin Held or Josh Thompson a tougher fight. Obviously, Held is the tougher fight right now.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
So let's. I don't want to spend too much time on Josh because that fight's not imminent. It's not coming for you. It's got nothing to do with it. You're
yeah.
looking at Marcin right now in front of you. Just got married. Had to push the bout around. It frustrated you quite a bit getting this
Yeah.
fight together. You're a little bit irritated. You now a little bit financially not strapped. I mean, you're getting thin because it's been 7 months in between fights.
Yeah.
A little angst, a little angry towards him at this point because of everything that's going on.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I, at first I was very respectful and understanding, in regards to him getting married and going on his honeymoon. And I said it, I tweeted, I was like, peace and blessings to you, man. Like, have like congratulations and whatnot. But afterwards, once it continued, once they booked the fight and had to change it and do this and do that, and then they were telling me, oh, we can't get in touch with him, we can't do this, we can't do that, and I'm like, you know what? Now it's kind of getting a little out of hand, especially not just thinking about the money part because that is what it is.
Yeah.
You can't really change that. You just keep moving forward, but it's the professionalism of it all. It's the idea that you are. It started making me feel like he was just kind of dragging his feet, and if and you just don't do that, especially when you have an opportunity to fight for the title. I feel like if it was me, I'd jump up and I'd shut down whatever I had going on. Not my
Yeah.
honeymoon, but
Yeah.
I'd be right back and ready to go. But he did. I felt like he wasn't doing that, and I felt like honestly, I've always been honest about it. I felt like Bellator wasn't doing the right things in regards to making sure this fight happened. When it was supposed to happen, and it was a little annoying and upsetting to me, and I still am annoyed and upset.
For me, I thought this fight should have happened no later than October.
Yeah,
Just
we're on the
because,
same.
just because of, so he just got off his honeymoon. So what? It's August. You have all
Yeah,
of August, all of September, all of and even so, like the original fight, like you said earlier, was supposed to be in August. He would have had 5 or 6 weeks. It really could have happened in September because he doesn't need. He's not a guy that's like never worked out before. All of a sudden now he needs 18-week training camp. He
exactly.
needs 8 weeks, so he needed 2 more
Yeah,
weeks. Push it to September. Okay, I get it. Going all the way to November, there's
yeah,
something else that's going on. Like he's ducking him for he had some there's some kind of injury he's trying to heal up from. There's
yeah,
he's got a new nagging wife that wants to spend more time with him. He's got something going on that is
yeah.
not publicly known that's making this shit get pushed back. 'Cause it doesn't make any sense to me. It just doesn't.
Yeah, and you know what? And look, and I can respect that, but just be honest about it. I don't think anybody would thought any less of him if you were just to say, hey, you know what, man? Like, I've got a nagging injury right now. I can't do it right now. We can't sign this contract. We can't do this. I would appreciate that. I like that. I don't mind that. I respect that. But for after it kept continuing, I started to think, and again, I'm honest with you, and I'm honest with everybody. I started to feel like it was a little bit more of Bellator just not being organized and not being professionally organized and not having a real solid idea on what direction they wanted to go in regards to promoting this fight, making this fight. It felt like even in August when they called me, because prior to August they had told me, "Oh yeah, you're probably not gonna fight until November," and I was like, "Dang," But again, what can you do? And then all of a sudden I'm sitting on my couch and I'm walking around at like 88, like
Oh,
between 88 190, because I'm thinking we're not going to do anything until November, so why do I gotta go crazy on my weight? So they end up calling me. I'm sitting on my couch. I kid you not, I'm eating Dorito chips and playing video games. And then they tell me, hey, we're going to fight you in August. And I look at my phone. I'm like, you're going to give me 8 weeks to prepare for this fight when I'm a heavier lightweight. I'm a bigger guy. Now you're going to tell me I got to get up in 8 weeks and go and put together pretty much a rush training camp. That kind of frustrated me. Then they explained to me the wedding and all that. And they were like, we're going to move it to September. All right, cool. That I feel better with that. Get into a training camp. Then all of a sudden, hey, unfortunately, we have to move it we got to move it out of September, move it to October. Now I'm like, listen, man. Now you guys are starting to be very unprofessional. This is very unorganized. This is not appropriate. This is not a way you would treat somebody who's the champion of your organization, And um, So, again, they move it, and I reach out to some of the guys over at Bellator. I'm explaining to them, like, listen, I have financial things I have to take care of.
Yeah.
You're moving my paychecks. This is not just moving my fight. You're moving paychecks, and now it's frustrating. And then I start to think these guys are a little bit more unorganized than what I thought, and it's a little frustrating. I'm
Yeah.
sorry I'm ranting, man. I think I
No,
rant.
it's
I got that. I'm a little upset.
you kind of come off as a nerd a lot of times. You kind of come off like a little too nice. You really do.
Yeah,
Like you come off as like kind of like, oh no, all shucks, man. Like nothing really bothers me. I just kind of roll with the punches. It's okay. But it's
yeah,
like it's the first time, at least with me. Like I don't. I honestly don't watch every single one of your interviews. I watch most of them, but I don't watch every single one of them. And I haven't seen you this frustrated ever about anything at any time ever.
yeah.
And
I
it's
mean, I try to keep myself calm and collected as much as I can because I know that there's outside of these conversations that we have, there's kids and there's other people, there's other adults that actually look up to me as somewhat of a role model. So I would like people. I like to teach people that even during times of negativity and stressful times, you can still carry yourself with a respectful manner. But yeah, at the same time, I do remember that I do come from a family where we are very vocal about things, and it's
yeah,
starting to come up out of me a little bit more now, and I'm starting to become a little bit more comfortable with that because I started to recognize these organizations kind of put us in handcuffs in regards to that, being able to say what we want to say and speak our minds because we're in fear that either you'll bench us, you'll sit us for a long time, or you control our money, you control our income, you have a lot of control in what we do as professionals, So, but now I'm starting to realize that I'm not going to allow these guys to have that much control over my life anymore, in regards to what I do as a professional. And now, you know, these past few months and these past few things that have been going on, and there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that I haven't liked also, and now I'm starting to understand that the whole being modest and being quiet thing it hinders you at some point. They use it against you. They take your kindness for weakness, and now
yeah.
I'm definitely going to start being a little bit more vocal about where I stand with it.
Well, you talk about being a role model, to some adults and some kids that are out there that are watching, but also to remember, as the champ, you're a role model to everybody else in the weight class beneath you, and you're a
Yeah,
role model to every other champion that's out there. Like, champs can be role models for other champs, and that's kind of how things get put together. So you being vocal about certain things you see wrong, it's kind of not only within your right, but it's kind of your duty now as a champ to say stuff. It's kind of
yeah,
your duty to go, look, this is not right. That the other champs are getting the same raw deal. These other fighters are getting the same raw deal that you are. It's like, well, hold on a second. I got to be a little bit more vocal because I am the guy that holds the belt. I should be able to say something because I am the top of the heap right now, and it's not going to be
yeah,
forever. Everybody loses at some point. But right now, this moment in time, I am Will Brooks. I am the champ. This is what I don't like. You don't have to be a
yeah,
dick about it. You don't have to be disrespectful and like
exactly.
go on Twitter and yell and scream at everybody. But you can be like, hey, look, behind closed doors, like, Scott, can you kind of fix this? Can you stop, bouncing me
Yeah.
around for 7 months? Can you help me out with a sponsor? Can you help me out with something new? Can you do something for
Yeah,
me?
well, you see, like, and I'll be honest about it. The you mentioned the behind closed doors thing, and I'll be honest. I took those steps. I did take those steps, and I did reach out to who I needed to reach out to, and I went through my management, and we just felt like there was some things that was going on that was a little suspect. It wasn't. We didn't feel like they were being completely honest with us, and I felt like somebody was telling me one thing and really planning on doing another thing, and it was just makes me feel very disrespected just because I do go out of my way to be polite, be respectful, express myself in an organized manner, even though I am upset. And I feel like, again, I'm starting to recognize that I may be getting taken advantage of because I'm trying to be so nice about things. And again, behind closed doors, there were some things that were said to me, and a little bit of a divide and conquer type of format that was being put together between me and my manager with the promoters of this organization. And I started to recognize that and learn that, and I'm educating myself. I'm starting to understand that, yeah, I am a champion, so I do have a responsibility to be honest about some of these things and let other guys know that we can't stand by and just be walked on anymore. We can't stand by and allow some of these sneaky things behind closed doors to take place anymore and not be honest about the way we feel. And I think Josh Thompson making the move over to Bellator really lit that fire for me. It was like, if this guy can make that jump and say what he has to say, and even Josh Koscheck, even though we all know that dude's a different type of guy, but he still made a lot of valid
You know,
points. You know?
I will say something about Josh Koscheck, and BJ Penn and I talked about this during our UFC Hall of Fame induction, that the biggest a-holes in the press when it comes to MMA, the guys that you just look at like, that guy's a dick, like, I can't stand that guy, I can't wait to watch him lose, are the nicest guys when you actually know who they are. Like Josh Koscheck is one of the nicest guys I've ever met, and we fought, and it was just like, he's just like a really nice guy. It's just like his shtick. And it's funny because he is also one of the smartest guys that I've ever talked to. And like for him, everything was financial. It's like, look, this is just retarded. Like I'm getting hamstrung. It doesn't make any sense. I got to make a jump. That's what I was hoping that Josh Thompson was doing the same thing. Like he can see the writing on the wall. I'm not 31. Okay, I'm 30. I'm 37, 36. Like it's coming to the end here quick. I got to make some money. So. Yeah,
yeah, man, like I said, like I personally, I've never met Josh Koscheck, and I'm sure he's a nice guy. I heard from a lot of people like he's a really nice guy. It's just his thing when he's in the media, things like that. But I also pay attention to things that he says, and then I start to recognize. I read between the lines, and I'm seeing like this dude is making valid points. Not a lot of people are paying attention just because the way he comes off, the way he words things, the way he talks and says things. People get they get rubbed the wrong way, but I'm like, if you slow down and really pay attention, the guy's for real. Like, he's making a lot of sense, and I'm starting to learn that now, and I'm starting to understand that I can't be afraid anymore of these guys, just because you know the history of the Bellator organization with Eddie Alvarez and different guys that was looking to make a jump or make a move or do all these different things. They lock them up, they lock them down, and they put them off to the side for a little bit and make people almost forget about them. So that is something that I have to be aware of, and it's an unfortunate thing that these organizations are able to do that. You know,
For me, I forget how young you actually are. Like, because I started watching you fight back when you fought. I want to say your first XFO fight. So that was like 2011. Maybe of your 17 fights, it was like I've seen 14 of them. Or 14 of your 17 fights, I've watched either on tape or live. And I forget, like, that's your whole career. Like, not, I happened to catch up in the middle of it. So I'm like, dude, this kid, this guy's like, he's got to be like 35. I just now, as we were talking, went back and looked at your age. You're 28?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, so, like, you're not, like, I'm like, well, how are you just learning this stuff now as a champ? Like, you've been around long enough to know. I'm like, but you haven't. You're really brand new. I mean, you're under 20 fights, 20 professional fights. This is...
Yeah, no, I tell people all the time, like, bro, people forget. And I tell people, like, listen, I've genuinely really only been on the big stage. Like, I've been fighting professionally for 4 years, but being on a big stage in this format in Bellator and being able in the face of the public, I've really only been around for 2 years, if you really think about it. And my coach always tells me, he's like, you're a sophomore in this sport, pretty much. Like, you're not a senior or a junior or anything. You're a sophomore. So that's my mindset, and that's why I've been trying to take my time as far as learning this sport, because I don't want to rush myself, and I gotta respect that I'm still young, so I'm still trying to pick things up as I go.
Well, thanks so much for coming on here, man. It's always a great pleasure talking to you. I actually learned quite a bit about the sport talking to you, because you are so much calmer than I am. I'm always angst about when I see something wrong, and I want to yell and scream, and you're like, the money is the money. We signed for it. It's just what it is. We can't change the money. We can change the date of our next fight, though. So why don't they change the date of the next fight? Not further away, bring it closer. I can see.
I mean, it's going to get there. It'll get to that point. But I think people like Ronda Rousey, and regardless of what people want to say about Conor McGregor, he's controlling the money now. He's got his hands in the right places. He's doing the right things, and I'm taking a few tips from the way he operates his organization over there, how he operates himself and his group around him. I've been watching him, and there's going to be a lot of changes in my personality. There's not bad changes, but I think there's a lot. I'm going to start expressing myself a little bit more, and I have no choice now.
Good for you. I'm glad it's the sophomore is slowly getting himself into being a junior. Not bad. Will, we're going to talk to you again. It's so far out from your fight. We're obviously going to talk a couple times before the fight happens again. This is where you are right now. We see how you're doing right now. Beginning of training camp, we'll catch you sometime in the middle and see how things have gone, and we'll see how much thinner your face is at that point too. Because I know you got a couple pounds you got to drop. So.
Yeah, I do. I got a few pounds.
All right. Well, have a great rest of your Sunday, buddy. We'll talk again soon.
All right, man. Take care. Thanks.